Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of RVing in New England. But Bob, I think we need to change the name of the show because tonight we have national guests. So we should call it RVing from New England, not just limiting it to a New England audience. What do you think of that?
That's not bad. RVing from it is from New England.
Right.
Could be.
Well, we're emanating from New England.
Well, it's been 6+ years. Maybe it's time for a name change and a little rebranding and new logo and all of that good stuff. But anyway, it is in fact Wednesday night. It seems like the week is going by very quickly for some reason. Maybe that happens when you get older. But the
one thing that hasn't changed is that our sponsor is located in New England, and we want to thank everybody at Lee's Auto and RV Ranch in Ellington, Connecticut, for sponsoring our show. And
they sent us a new graphic this week. I was talking to Brian. They are big. They are very big Cherokee and Wolf Pup dealers, and they have the service obviously to back them up. They had the inventory to back them up. They're down in Ellington, Connecticut. Brian Lingenbuehl and his family. It's family-owned business, 28 years in business, and we thank them very much for sponsoring RVing in New England. And he wants you to come down and see why the Cherokees are number one. It's a quiet brand. It's one of those brands that you don't see a lot of self-promotion on, but extremely well-built product. The Cherokees and the Wolf Pups, they do very well. We got several dealers
Amish built
in New England, Amish built, great product. So stop down to Lee's Auto and RV Ranch in Ellington, Connecticut. Say hello, tell them you saw him on RVing in New England, and have a good time.
You better get down there quick before the politically correct people make them change the name from Cherokee to generic.
Oh, that's true.
Indigenous RV company.
That's true.
So,
big day in Florida today, John. We broke the cold record day. The temperature today was 71. That's the lowest they've ever had on this date. The old record was 72. So my neighbors were running around with winter jackets and earmuffs and mittens and what. I said, but it's 71. They were complaining. It was 40. I don't know, 42 when I first took out the dogs this morning.
Right. Yeah, but I was saying Walter Swenson, our faithful contributor and listener, Walter Swenson, was saying, I believe that it was I think it was 48 up where he is, up in the Orlando area.
Yeah.
So, and when I got up at 3:30 this morning to drive my daughter to the airport, the temperature on my dashboard was 39 degrees. First time I've seen the 3 in quite a while. And as far as I'm concerned, if I don't see that 3 again for a long time, but I don't want it replaced with a 2. I want it replaced with a 4. So, hey, we got a great. Let's look at our audience here. There's great.
Just before you do that, let me put a plug in for the show because I want to start making sure we promote show every week. January 13th to 16th, the Boston RV and Camping Expo, the best RV show in New England. Make plans to join us there at the Boston Convention Exhibition Center. So who do we have?
So we got a great group of people. We've got Jerry. Oh, Jerry, Jerry, you camping right now at Scusset Beach?
This is his last camping trip. He posted
trip of the season. Yep.
Yep.
Remind me if Ryan Hadley's on tonight, I have to make an appointment with him to get de-winterized. What do you call it? Winterized, not de-winterized.
So you're going to use our show to take valuable time from our show.
Yeah.
To make sure that you get your unit winterized.
Right. I'll do like Michelle Fontaine. I see her here from Des Moines, Iowa. And who's another one famous for
on the way back to Arizona?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But Michelle is famous for having side conversations on our show with other people, like with Janine or somebody like that.
She'll talk to Ryan and say, I got an issue, Hey, Lisa's back. Where the hell you been? I've been away and just returned from Hurricane Ian. I was in the direct path. Well, we were not down here yet, but we were not in the direct path, and we had no issues with the house down here. Good evening, Ed Laturco. Early on tonight. Nice to see you. Jim Convoy. Jim, you're going to get 5 stars tonight, Mr. Convoy. I don't know if you've been watching his postings this week. Today, they are doing 4 units at once. He's hired a lot of people. He's got a lot of capacity, but that is a tough business. That's a hard job. And he had 4 units in the shop at once. And I think he said he's got something like 20 in the yard. And he's going to have to go find himself a new building. But just the fact that you could work all day, Jim, and come and visit with us tonight, we appreciate it.
And we're the highlight of his day.
The other side of that is maybe Kurt's doing all the work and Jim's sitting on his ass in the office, just making sure everything goes all right.
How is that any different?
Any different than what?
Than what he always does.
Oh, a regular week?
Yeah, well, he pulls that executive stuff, but every once in a while, though, he does go up on top of those. On top of those RVs with that spray and spray that stuff that's got the lifetime guarantee. It looks like
Estelle's on, but she's got a side conversation going with Jim. So
hello, Jim. Yep.
Estelle says, Bobby, you're back in Florida. Yes, I am. Susan Keenan. Hi there. Glad you. Nice for you to guys check in. Her and Jim are down. They just entered Florida today, I think.
St. Augustine.
Yeah, they've got the motorhome and they're all the way down here in Florida. St. Augustine KOA. Nice.
Hey, Susan, if you're looking for a restaurant, the Columbia restaurant in St. Augustine is great. Now, I don't know whether it got damaged in the last few weeks, but Columbia restaurant, there's one in Tampa. There's one in, what's that other city? Sarasota.
Orlando. Do they want in Orlando?
Tampa. I wouldn't go to any restaurant in Orlando because it's a chain.
Yeah.
There's nothing local in Orlando.
Yeah.
But not St. Augustine. Yeah, St. Augustine's the city, but Columbia restaurant, really good. And get that 1912 or 1812 salad.
Yeah.
So
Jim says he's
grilling the burgers.
Dogs with Susan in St. Augustine. He must be in the different room. He probably doesn't realize his wife's on the show also tonight. And Michelle had a water pedestal freeze last night at the KOA. I didn't think to let water trickle inside the RV. It warmed up enough, no thought, but geez, she's getting a pretty good education on this trip out there. It's not been all that easy. And Jerry says, winterizing is do it yourself, John. No, not for John and I. Forget it, Jerry. I don't care how good the instructions are. We're not doing that.
Jerry, I buy from our members.
Right.
I support our local businesses. So love Scusset. We live less
Susan Susan discovered Bucky's, John, for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you say it here?
And she
Columbia restaurant.
And she got your message. on the Columbia restaurant, and she said Jim is outside on the grill, so he must have his phone. And Mr. Burns from Easy Care, hope to see you two studs at RVDA. We are planning it, Jim. We are. It'll be John's first trip out to RVDA, but we will certainly let you buy us a drink in Caesar's Palace. We're not proud. What?
Time out. Kessler is here, and he's in the first half hour. The first half hour.
Let's see, at 7:10. Well, I don't know. I don't think we want to cut him slack. You're still late, Kessler. You should apologize.
Are the Tigers in the playoffs?
No.
Yankees,
Rick. In Houston, Phillies, and somebody else.
Rick, it doesn't show much when you support a team that's not in the playoffs. You don't see Zagami wearing his Red Sox shirt, do you?
Right. Hey, get this one. I saw Michelle post this the other night. She's on this trip back to Arizona. One of her spring bars on the weight distribution system disappeared. Must have dropped off while I drove. No one can figure out how, but it's gone. So that'd be a good question for Ryan or Swenson if Swenson is dialing in. I never heard of somebody losing a weight distribution bar. First of all, they're so tough to get on. I don't know how the hell they get off easy enough. But enough.
I've got a side question with Walt Burns. I got to talk to about tire protection. Do you have Walter's contact info?
I can give you all of his contact info.
Okay, good.
How about if we bring up two people from Colorado? Any two people. You got the whole state of Colorado, John.
Let's see.
Pick two people in Colorado.
The guy, John Elway.
Oh, you're on a different world. I'll take Mark. I'll take Marc and Julie Bennett in Colorado any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
And how are the Bennetts tonight?
We're doing fantastic. It's always such a pleasure to come on the show with you guys. I always love seeing you guys.
You two are a couple of hams.
Before we join.
It'd be terrible if we ever took this stuff seriously, Mark.
Hey, we're in the fun business, Julie. We're in the fun business.
Right.
But you know what?
You guys. You notice John's got his winter jacket on, and I still got my short sleeve shirt.
Not only do I have my winter jacket on, I've got
and shorts on.
I've got another one under it. I've got my Thetford long sleeve here somewhere.
It looks good. Summery. That's nice and fall colors behind you in that campground.
And you're even more durable than Bob because you're out in the evening at a campfire and John's out at a sunny campsite, during the day, and you're still
somewhere in Massachusetts.
These are all my camping friends in Florida. They wanted me to do the show live from the campground tonight.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Cool. Yeah, they look kind of stiff.
Yeah,
they've been drinking.
They didn't have a drink.
They've been drinking.
Had you on the show.
They wrote 3 more books.
But they're busy.
And they had a leak. You needed to be in New England to have Jim Conboy work on your roof.
Who's Jim?
Jim is New England RV Roof. And
that would have been a really long drive.
You drove 20 hours. What's another 100 hours?
That's true.
True.
Yeah, that's true. We just drove to the northern part of South Dakota.
Yeah.
And we could have done the Seal Tech. Ryan Hadley could have done the Seal Tech, or down at Majors could have done the Seal Tech.
Yeah, Gary Plant could have done it.
And Jim.
They found a few leaks, and then Mark found one more. And I
found
think
one
we're
more
good
after,
now.
but we're good. We got it all dialed in now. But yeah, that's actually one of the things that was interesting is that, when we were looking around in Colorado, there was nothing to be had for an appointment in an RV shop for a couple of months. But then we found the one in South Dakota, and we're like, hey,
they could get us in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we just did that. And so maybe next time, if it was this next week, we could even go to New England and just.
We just need a bit more notice.
When was the last time you guys were in New England?
Last January of 20.
Yeah. You did that.
April of 2021. We
in a camper. Were you camping?
No, actually, a friend of ours upgraded his Class A 45-foot diesel pusher, and it was in Texas, and he got a new 45-foot diesel pusher, and he needed somebody to transport it from Texas.
Oh, you drove it to New Hampshire?
We drove it to Florida. He said, why don't you fly into Texas, pick it up, drive it to Florida, we'll hang out, but the catch is you've got to drop it off in Connecticut. So we're like, sure. So we did. It was awesome. Our good friend Eric and Caleb from Mobile Must Have. Beautiful Integra. It was nice. Mm-hmm. I didn't drive it. Marc drove it.
I can't figure that out. But
explain to folks what you guys are driving now and what your RV work life and home life is like.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we're driving a rig similar to John's now. We've got a 2017 Winnebago Navion. It's just
like the View, which is a little
Class C on the Mercedes Sprinter chassis. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to have that different travel style. We've been using that for about 10 months now. One trip down into Florida, and then this one up in the summer. We did. We've been 20 states in that little.
20 states.
What were you in just before that?
Just before that, we were just doing some part-time travel with a little casita camper trailer, the little fiberglass eggs towed behind our Jeep. That the Jeep was the one that we used to tow behind our big Class A coach
when we were full timings. But now we're part-time.
As you can see right now, we're not inside an RV right now. We're in our home base. So we're doing some part-time travel now, more with the Navion than the little casita because it's a lot more comfortable to do.
And we've driven more miles in the last 10 months in that Class C than we ever did in any single year full-timing in our Class A.
Well, I'm a little disappointed, Julie. When I put this picture up like this, I don't see a picture of John and I on the bookshelf behind you.
Oh, I think that was right behind my head.
Maybe behind your head. Must be misplaced.
Next time, I promise I will. I'll put a framed photo of you two up there for the next time I come on. Promise.
We'll send you a 2-foot by 3-foot.
All right, Jim.
Really bigger than me.
Jim Convoy says there are 30 locations nationwide. You go to rvroof.com and then find yourself saying that it's a lifetime warranty. You'll never have a leak. You'll never have any more damage. It's an unbelievable system. I was talking just before the show. I don't know if you guys were in the lobby, but he's working in the shop right now. He's got 4 units in the shop right now and about 20 in the driveway or the parking lot we go through. It's an incredible investment. And when you realize all the issues that people have with leaking roofs. I mean,
leaks are one of the biggest problems for an RV. So that's a fantastic solution. I think I've seen what they do before. That would be awesome because having a leak is terrible. I mean, it can ruin an RV.
A lot of RVs don't get up on the roof.
They publish. Jim is good at posting, and I guess that's what he does all day, John. He just sits on his rear end and posts the pictures in the Facebook stuff. And Kurt and the team
do all the work.
But he posted one of a pretty high-end Newmar that had just been neglected, and they had to rip the entire roof and the struts and the frame. But they can do that. They can literally take the entire roof, struts and all, and put on the new struts. We're talking above his technical expertise. See, he already lost us.
No. We've got a situation here where it's totally okay for us to make fun of our guests. But it's not okay when people like Jerry Plant say, just go to the post office and get their wanted posters.
No, yours or ours?
That shouldn't be allowed.
But I think it's illegal. I think it's illegal if you pull the pictures off the wall in the post office. I'm not sure.
I want to make sure that
they don't offer you signed copies. John and I will actually sign the photographs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We've got a lovely photo of you, Bob.
Michelle Fontaine has a question that is completely unrelated to the Bennett's being our guest. With SealTech, how do they deal with all the stuff on the roof? Give Jerry Plant a call or give Ryan Hadley a call, and he will explain the whole process. Or seeing that you're headed to Arizona, you can find out where to get it tested. You should definitely get a testing done when you get there.
I can give them the answer to that because I've had SealTech done. All they need, Michelle, is they need one vent. They don't touch any of your other stuff on the roof. They don't touch your air conditioner. They don't touch that little bubble that's over the shower. All they need is one of those little square vents, and they work everything out of that vent. Right, guys? Did you see yours being done?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah, they attach it into that vent, and they pressurize the inside of the RV so that they.
I think she meant how do they check. I think she meant how do they check the roof, but the fact is it checks the entire RV because it sucks the air and has an air pressure, and then you do the water test. But let's get back to the Bennetts. You recently. There's so much we could talk to you guys about, but you recently had an incredible blog, and if I can, let me just see how.
And while you're trying to figure that out, so, which will take about another 20 minutes, I'll tell our audience that this past year, just before we put the Do It Now tour together, we started hearing negatives about why this is not the time to own an RV, why it's not the time to go to a campground, why it's not the time to figure you can get a spot at a campground, why it's not the time to invest in another RV, why it's too expensive. Okay. The alternatives are to do nothing and let the naysayers have their way. But the thing that I like best about this blog, because I prepare for these shows, unlike Zagami.
Right.
You take all those five major negative points and just beat the crap out of them.
Well, there's not, and I think the post is called Busting 5 Common RV Camping Myths, because you're right, John, we hear a lot about you have to book a campground a year in advance. Somebody actually commented on one of our videos recently, oh, you have to book a campground 2 years out. I'm like, where are you going? Because you can all, I mean, we didn't even make reservations hardly at all last winter. But
so there's the title to your blog. So if you go to rvlove.com,
it's right on the homepage.
Blogs, you can see the entire thing. But walk us through some of the examples that you have. And of course, this is from your own history on the road. So this is real life
experience.
But Bob,
and that's what's interesting about that post is, like John said, we hear everyone say, "Oh, you can't find campsites, and their campgrounds are completely overcrowded, and that the fuel's cost prohibitive, and that repairs you can't find anywhere to get a repair." And we touched on the repair thing. You just got to think outside the box. Don't just go to the one shop. Call around to a few different ones, and your RV has wheels. Be willing to move around to find one that's the right fit. But also the campgrounds we went to, almost everywhere we've gone all summer in our RV, we've been less than 20% occupancy in a lot of those campgrounds. And so we've had so much space, and I don't know where people are going to the wrong places, I guess.
There's definitely, I just want to say, there's definitely truth to a degree in all 5 of those points that we addressed.
To a degree.
To a degree, absolutely. We're not saying it's not true. But I think what happens is people just either try one thing and then they hit a roadblock and then they stop and give up, or they just believe what they're seeing and everyone complaining in the Facebook groups, because that's what people do in Facebook groups mostly, it seems. And then
look at Jerry's comment. For people who think camping is holiday weekends at national parks, there's an issue. He booked Scusset last week, and Scusset is one of the most popular state campgrounds. It's actually one of the state campgrounds down on Cape Cod, and it's extremely popular.
Right on the water.
When they isn't that on Cape Cod, John?
Yeah, as soon as you go over the bridge.
Yeah. And when they open up reservations in April or May, they book solid. But what they're booking is July 4th, Labor Day, Memorial Day, and a week's vacation in terms of what you can do.
You know what, folks?
Jason Cole's with us tonight. Jason says, during the week, not for the weekend warrior.
Yeah. It's definitely easy. And I think one of the great things that's come out of the last couple of years, and of course, it depends on how you feel about working from home, but it's made it so much easier now for people to be able to work from anywhere and take a bit of a long weekend or go during the week, even if it's in a campground close to your home, or even if you have to commute to work still, you can still go during the week somewhere and still, get there in the afternoon or in the morning and be there on a weekend. But
the flexibility is the big key.
That's the thing, is I think you need to be flexible and just don't necessarily go where all the crowds are going. Now, we have managed to get some last minute campsites at popular places, but for the most part, and I will actually also say that now we're in a 25-foot motorhome. It's really much easier. And John, you would have the same experience. It's much easier, even at popular campgrounds at popular times.
Well, when you were doing your before you bought that unit and were doing your tour and you wound up at Key West, didn't you score a big gold medal with the campground down at Key West that's usually filled all year long?
The Sunshine Key. We had 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year. We paid $20 a night. $20 a night over Christmas and New Year.
At Key West?
No, it wasn't Key West. It was Sunshine Key, which is it's about 45 minutes.
Highway going down to Key West.
Yeah, halfway through the Keys. Halfway through the Keys.
But you know what? I know we want to go through these point by point, but I think it's very important to point out that if you rely solely on what you see in the national media for your camping and RV needs, you're going to go wrong.
Yep.
Because they don't know the ins and outs that we all know the ins and outs, and they tend to broadly generalize and be negative. Okay, how do I know that? I've been in that business for 40 years. I know you think I just got out of college, but
that's what gets the headlines and the attention and the clicks and the views.
Right.
People just want to read the negative.
And Jason Cole is correct. If there are certain areas that if you want a specific campground at a specific time, yes, folks, you need to do some planning. But if you're not necessarily able to plan a year or 2 years out and have some flexibility in where you end up, and I'm not talking about settling for a dump when there's a 5-star place that you could have gone to, but you've got flexibility. And I know for a fact that on New Year's Eve, on what do you call it, 4th of July, a couple of years ago, we were up in Vermont, and I called at about 11 a.m. and I said, I know you're going to laugh at me, but did anything become open for tonight? And it was 2 units that we needed. And they said, you called just at the right time, because 5 minutes ago we got a cancellation.
They haven't all the time, John. And that's for people that are thinking that, Jason said many still work full time and camping on the weekends is a struggle. And especially in busy and popular areas. And it's very much more populated in the Northeast where you guys are. Mind you, where we are in Colorado, it's one of the most common, one of the most popular states for RV camping place too, for locals as well as travelers. But people cancel last minute all the time. That's one of the hacks in our RV hacks business. Call like 48 hours before.
Pick out your next myth. I'm going to give a big shout out here to Majors. We're going to play our commercial, and then we're going to come back. So figure out the next myth. You don't have to pick it out right now, but while we're gone.
Next one, we haven't done the first one yet.
Shout out to Majors. This is the kind of service that if everybody in the RV industry could and would do it. So Majors RV is our big service center down on Cape Cod. They brought in a German couple touring the world in a manned 6x6 to fix their toilet. They called at 9:30 in the morning. They were done at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, if you don't know a manned 6x6, correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, but I think they start at about $1 million. So here's a couple from Germany. This is the ultimate outdoor Outlander RV. It looks like a big battle tank. They're amazing. But here's a couple that brought one over from Germany and is touring the whole world, and they were able to get that kind of service. And that's what Majors RV is noted for. That's what they're there for. So with that, I am going to play our sponsors commercial, and then we'll come back and talk about another myth.
We want to thank Bob Zagami and NERVDA for inviting us to sponsor their fall into winter dealership sponsor program, and we want to introduce ourselves. This is Brian and the sales team here at Lee's Auto and RV Ranch. We want to welcome all the NERVDA members to come visit us and check out our great operation. We have a tremendous amount of inventory, from small teardrops to Class A motorhomes. And also we want to introduce you to our service department, where we do full mechanical repair and body work, floors, paint work, custom paint work on anything from Class A diesel pushers to small motorhomes. We want to invite everybody down to come say hello. We're family owned and operated. We're here to help you and serve you.
Thank you, Brian. That's a great family business in Connecticut.
Yeah, but there's only one thing wrong with that ad. He said, I want to thank Bob Zagami, and he didn't mention me.
You know, there are certain,
it's just not right.
Levels in life.
It's not right.
But what can I say, John?
I carry the show every week. You just hit some buttons.
It's terrible.
And he mentions you.
If you could always go on strike. You just say no. I'm not going to show up this week.
No, the strikes this week are reserved for teachers in Massachusetts. I don't know why, but there's a couple of towns that are on strike. So anyway, now Jerry brought up a point there, but let's go back to Jason Cole. Many of us still work full time, and camping on the weekends is a struggle. But with, I don't know, Jason, if most of your weekends, are you out with 6 or 7 other units, or are you out with just you and your wife? Because if you want to do 6 and 7 units, that could be a problem, especially if you want to be together. But generally, if it's one unit, I've found pretty good luck.
Those last minute cancellations.
We're still talking about the campground thing, but let me put up Frank's note, because he says, I really like logging into our Reserve America for camping. They have lots of locations, but you cannot call for a site last minute. So always have a backup plan. Frank, I was just on the phone today with the senior marketing manager of Aspire, that owns Reserve America. They own RV parking, and they are bringing new features into that Reserve America software. And one of them actually is you can book other people in a group when you're making your reservation. And I haven't seen that too often other places. So if you were, had 10 people going out for a weekend, it seems like a feature. And any campground associated with Reserve America, the feature is called Firefly, which is their new product. So eventually the Aspire, I forget what, it's, I want to say Atlas software, but whatever the name is, it's going to be changed over to Firefly. But he's my interview on the Camper Report show this week. But you might see some changes coming on that Reserve America, or check that out a little bit more. That sounds like it would be very helpful to people making the campground reservation, and there's thousands on there.
Yeah. What was another one of the myths, guys?
Well, we've also seen some booking tools starting to hit the market now, that those booking tools, you can say where you want to go, and they will actually constantly check the website looking for a cancellation, then actually make the booking even through reserveamerica.com for a campsite. So there's some technology tools out there now that can do the work for you.
Are you thinking about Spot Tonight?
Yes, what was the question? Have we heard of Spot Tonight? Yes.
Are you thinking about Spot Tonight, Mark? Was that one of the ones that you were thinking about?
That's one of the tools. That's one of the tools. We've talked to 3 of them.
RV.com, Spot Tonight, and this is one we've actually been using for a long time, called Wandering Labs. And you can put a notification for a state park or a national park. But we've just had, like we got a last minute spot at Watchman Campground at Zion in Utah in March, which is one of the most popular. Actually, just one.
What was the name of that one, Julie?
I'm sorry?
What was the name of that one?
If you go to reserve.wanderinglabs.com, and it was created by an RVer, and it's really just more like funded by donations.
Reserve.wanderinglabs.com.
LABS?
LABS?
Like laboratories, Wandering Labs.
And then that RVie or something.
RVs, ARVIE.com, and then Spot Tonight. So that, those last two, we've been using Wandering Labs for years, but those other two, Spot Tonight.
I just posted it, but tell me if I'm wrong. Estelle says, thanks, Bob. That's great, because usually there are 4 of us that go to Salisbury Beach.
Like
did I type that right?
I believe so. I think that like we've gotten last minute spots.
I hadn't heard
People
of that.
are always canceling, I mean.
Right. And guys, I'm sure you'd all agree that the technology is great, but if you're in an area that you don't have good service, the way that you generally, again, last resort or whatever, is the old telephone. Some people might say, well, if you don't get phone service, then you don't get internet. That's not always true.
Not always, no.
So do some cross references, get a phone number of the place you want to go, and just call.
Your top 5, or even 3. Right. Just have a little short list of your favorite places within the vicinity, and then you just call them and keep calling them, because that 2 weeks we got at the Keys in December over Christmas and New Year, I booked it in October, so it was only 2 months in advance, and I only got 1 week. But I wanted more. We could drive from Colorado to the Keys. I want to stay as long as I just kept calling and calling and calling. And eventually I got an extra couple of days and another day. And the next thing I got 2 weeks.
But sometimes when you get in the place, at least you just get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And you want to extend, it's easier to extend than to come in cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to move your site, so what?
Well, we've done that at the Keys when we rented an RV the year before. It was really last minute. We went down into Key West with a little, that little Winnebago Trend that we rented, a little 24-footer, no slides. And then we got into Leo's campground right in Key West. And it was a weekend. It was a weekend in Key West in peak season in January. And it was literally just the week before. And they were able to get me one night in one spot and then the next night in another spot. So we just moved. It's so easy in that little rig. It's not a big deal. And now if you've got a big toy hauler, well, you probably wouldn't fit in that campground anyway. But big RV can be more of a hassle to move, especially for short stays. But little ones are much easier.
Let's go to another myth.
This is all right. One last one from Jerry. This is interesting. I never heard of this, but he says he's called popular places and got put on a wait list, and he actually gets a call back.
Almost always gets a call back before the trip. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. I think people just do need to be persistent. I think a lot of people give up after the first no, right? No, we're booked out and that's it. And they give up.
Right.
So
and
many
keep in
people
mind,
were
folks,
getting in the habit of overbooking. People were thinking they were
some people
scarce,
booking
and so
multiple campsites for the same weekend.
Yep.
So then they have a lot of cancellation.
But also it's important to keep in mind that if that last minute reservation or that last minute cancellation came in, they haven't gone to the website to make it available yet.
Right.
So
they just got off
even
the phone.
though it says on the website, sold out, sorry, call anyway. Because if it's on a weekend, the person who's doing the website work might not be there.
That's right.
All right, let's not beat that one to death.
Okay, let's get a new one.
Let's get a new myth.
New myth. Well, this is one I know everyone likes to complain about. It's the fuel prices, because they haven't been much fun this last 10 months. But you know what? When we hit the road full time in 2014, so the myth was high fuel prices have made RV travel unaffordable. It's definitely made it more expensive. There is no question we're all feeling the pain at the pump. But I think what we found, and you've probably found this too, a lot of RVs have just adjusted their travel style. Like you start to realize that, wow, there's actually some really cool stuff within 50 miles of where I live. I don't have to go that far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to really focus on that, because so often we think the grass is greener on the other side, but there can be some beautiful places. And we've got so many amazing places within 2 hours of us. It's like I could spend a whole summer just doing that. So I think a lot of RVers have adjusted their travel plans and put off their big trips because of the fuel prices. But we know some that have decided to do it anyway because
still doing,
tomorrow's promised to no one.
Yeah, transcontinental stuff, like really far away stuff. And we've gone some quite big trips too. And there's a lot of ways to save money on fuel too. We have a separate blog post on ways to save money on fuel, and it's stuff that people don't always think about. Just don't carry as much stuff. It makes your vehicle more efficient. Don't drive as fast. Some of these RVs, especially Class A motorhomes, if you're driving over 60 miles an hour, you have exponential losses in fuel economy. I remember sharing that with someone years ago. He said, "Oh, I only get like 6 miles per gallon with my coach." I'm like, how fast do you drive?
Doing 75 miles an hour.
75 miles an hour, exactly. And I said, bring it down to 60 and tell me what happens. And he went from 7 to 10 miles an hour. So 10 miles
60.
per gallon. He had a humongous improvement in his fuel economy. it's just, there's little things that can make a big difference in your pocketbook,
especially a lot of things that are in your control, because the fuel prices are not in our control. So we can sit and complain it all day long. It's not going to change it. I don't know. You might have more power than us, you guys.
Bob and John.
But we don't have that power.
Yeah.
But,
there was a new thing that I saw this summer when we were traveling, and some people want to take advantage of it and some don't. But when you look at the gas chains, if they have a frequent buyers club, or if you sign up, your first tank is 20 or 30%, 20 or 30 cents off per gallon. Now, if you got a 60-gallon tank, there's some sizable savings. Some of those are connected directly to your checking account. So some people say, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Right. But you know what? We've got loyalty cards for just about everything, from fried chicken to
What else gas?
To gas and to cars.
They've got your information, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Significant savings.
And we've got one of those fuel cars that we can fill in the trucker lanes with the diesel fuel. But even things like, it sounds, supermarket chain, where we all shop at the supermarket, get groceries, and you can buy gift cards as gifts, or we bought a gift card for Chipotle. Marc loves Chipotle, so we get a gift card, $100 every time we go to Chipotle. But we got like 400 points for that purchase through the Kroger network, and that's a massive network,
which then translates to big discounts.
Big discounts. So it takes a little bit of time, but hey, it all adds up, and it end up saving you quite.
You just got to be innovative. Like, I know, for example, where Bob hasn't had this experience yet, but Royal Farms. An audience, if you've been to Royal Farms chicken place, it's what I call, on the East Coast, we have good gas station food, believe it or not. You got great pretzels at Wawa, and you got terrible coffee at Sheetz, but they got some good discounts. But any of those places, if you buy food, you get discount on gas. If you buy gas, you get discount on food. And I can't wait to get back to that Delmarva area to get some Royal Farms chicken. And
been to a Buc-ee's?
Huh?
Have you been to a Buc-ee's?
Have I been to a Buc-ee's? But Julie, I don't know what religion you are, but my definition of a mortal sin is when you go to Buc-ee's and get gas and don't go in to get a roast beef sandwich or a turkey sandwich. I actually know someone who did that recently. They got off the highway to go to Buc-ee's and didn't go in.
That's the whole experience, is going in. They got really good jerky.
I've been in them before. I was on the way to meet somebody, but I have a feeling this is going to be my Chef Boyardee moment. But this is not the first time that John is going to bring this up. It happened to be a Buc-ee's. I was going to stop, but we had to go meet somebody, which we didn't do afterwards. But anyways, what the hell? But Marc mentioned little tips. How is RV Hacks doing? This is one of 2 books, best-selling books, award-winning books that Marc and Julie have authored. If you don't have them, you should have them. How is this one going?
That's been going so well. It's actually, we're really happy with how well RV Hacks is selling. It's sold almost as many as the original book, Living the RV Life. And it's only been out for less than half the time. And so it's doing really well. And because I think there's just a lot of people who really can benefit from the smaller hacks. They're just little things that make your life easier and more fun. So whereas the Living the RV Life is more focused on extended RV travel, and but RV Hacks is broader appeal, and people loving it.
Everyone loves hacks. Everyone's a shortcut. Great for your Christmas shopping.
That's why I wanted to show them tonight. The holidays are coming up, so this is the time to get in line, and you really can. I mean, you can buy them anywhere. You can just
everywhere. Yeah,
everybody's got them. So if you want a special holiday gift, and you can also get them through the RV Love homepage. There's an item on the top that say, books. You can go through there and buy them, but they are great. I mean, the RV Hacks book that's one you can read in the house and do the hack in your driveway. You don't even have to go camping. You can pick it up and.
Did you see on the back? There's this fantastic quote from a very, very illustrious person in the RV space. Can you read it?
DePietro, this is why
DePietro needs to read this one.
This is why people mention me first, because I'm published. Look at it on the back of the book. It says a copy of RV Hacks should be in every RV on the road today. The top of it, right? I mean, not in the middle of 10 reviews, not down.
No, the publisher picked that one. They said that we gave them a whole bunch.
And the first thing you see is Bob Zagami, and you wonder why, Brian Lincolnville says, thank you, Bob Zagami. What the hell are you looking for, DePietro?
They're like, this guy's a big deal. We need to put him on the back.
Right.
I'm looking for a book that I wrote, not just wrote a cheap little sentence on the back cover, which nobody reads. I wrote the whole damn book.
Well, shame on you for not having it available. All right,
you read the book, John. We're still waiting for a copy.
I'm trying to get another. Julie, it's called "You Don't Have to Be Perfect to Be Great." I've got a copy here somewhere here.
But where's our copy? I haven't got a signed copy, John.
He didn't send you a signed copy yet?
No.
He promised that to you 2 years ago.
Well, I didn't know you when I wrote it. I didn't know you when I wrote it.
God.
I can't believe I wrote that in 2006. It seems like yesterday. Wow. I was trying to find another 1,000 words so I didn't have to, so I could buy 4 more pages. You know what that is.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So let's go to another hack. These are really good. These are really good.
Catch up
another
on
myth.
Well, we're getting behind on. Do you mind?
Oh, by the way, folks, you might have seen something just a few moments ago where Zagami put a picture up of 2 people that were on the roof of their RV. Now,
I did.
I don't go on the roof of my RV because in mine, I'm over the weight limit on the ladder.
Yeah.
So we don't want people going up on their RV to take a picture of themselves up there and then falling off and then blaming us.
That would be bad.
The Turco said, behind Julie, what is RV Hacks all about? So I assume we just answered that question. Is RV Hacks on the shelf, or did you? I don't see it on the shelf.
Right there. Oh, it's on the shelf too.
It has 415 hacks in here, divided across 6 chapters.
Yeah.
Driving, RV repairs and maintenance, camping, campgrounds, RV living with cooking, meal tips and decorating, storage, working on the road, families, kids and pets. So pretty much every aspect of RV life there is, it's covered in there. And it's just a super easy little read. And a lot of the hacks have like little illustrations to show. And there's some really great stories in here from other RVers, actually. A lot that you'll know, like Jeremy and Stephanie Puglisi and Dwayne from RV Inspection and Care and Brian from RV with Tito, and people that have shared not only a great hack, but how it got them out of a bind and how that came to be, that it got them out of a bad situation. Marc kept from Campground Views. I mean, he went through how many tires on his maiden voyage as a full-time RVer? I think he almost hung up the keys from that trip, but great.
I'm confused with Susan's comment, and it just says Susan
cinnamon buns.
Did we miss something?
No, I think
that's probably at Buc-ee's.
Oh, Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's. Okay, Buc-ee's. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. We got that figured out. Okay.
It's John's book.
Right, it is.
That'd be perfect to be great. Oh, John's disappeared now. Wow, that's better.
Yeah,
that's a good cover.
Yep.
And it's got my picture on the back.
At least they didn't put his picture on the cover. No,
it's on the back.
I'm waiting for our signed copy, please. I'll get offline and send you our address.
So
right, Susan confirmed.
Don Hodge just joined us from Athens, Texas. Says way late. Sorry, everyone. Awesome guests. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Well, we're 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, way late. Sorry, everyone. Awesome guest. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Better than late than never.
Right. Right. Nobody's getting my humor tonight.
And you even had Rick on in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, where did Rick go? He hasn't said anything.
I know where Kessler went.
He's on, he says hello. We tell him to apologize, and he goes back to the grill and cooks some bratwurst or something. He's probably, good evening, gentlemen. It's 7:10.
Lady and gentlemen.
There's hot dogs, hamburgers, sausage, chicken, and you come up with bratwurst.
Well, he's close to Wisconsin. He's in Michigan.
Yeah, it's only 3 states away.
Well, yeah, but it's closer than
three big states away.
But it's closer than a Fenway Frank. Okay.
Unfortunately, John is still there.
So
oh boy! So let's do another myth.
One more before we run out of time.
One more.
Well, we don't want to run out of myths, though, because we'll make.
I don't know how you people in New England are going to feel about this, but RV campgrounds and boondocking spots are overcrowded. I don't think you have that many boondocking spots up there in the Northeast compared to.
Yes, you do.
You do?
Boondocking.
Boondocking spots.
You like Bureau of Land Management? You mean way out there, not boondocking welcome or harvest?
Well, you know, even Harvest Hosts actually. I mean, they've just exploded the last.
They're going crazy. Yeah,
they're going crazy, and they're doing awesome, and we love.
I don't know. Jason Cole, you like to go to the state parks and the beaches. Is there any true? There must be some good boondocking land up in Maine or Vermont or
I would think so.
New Hampshire. When you get up into the higher extremes, you certainly won't find it in Massachusetts.
You won't find it in Portland, but you'll find it outside the area.
Tools to find them, right?
You get up into the county, which is Aroostook County, which is all the way up in Maine next to Canada. You probably could find some good places up there. Yeah,
out west it's a lot more plentiful for sure. We definitely have a lot more.
Do you guys do a lot of that?
We like to. I mean, because we've had multiple RVs have had substantial off-grid capability, and so
the big coaches had big tanks.
We just went boondocking last week too, though. We've got some other friends who, they camp for less than. They hardly spend anything on their camping expenses. They almost never pay to stay in a campground. Mm-hmm. They use a lot of apps to find, less popular free camping spots. And there's really great tools for that as well. And
we found a nice spot in Colorado last week and one of the apps and just went and camped there for the night with them right by a river. Beautiful views, full moon. It was lovely.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bob, what kind of an Turco brought up? Ed LaTurco brought up a very good point. If you could highlight that one.
Like regular blogs and stuff, yeah. A lot of communication.
We keep a running travel type diary.
Like
that's a good
October 21st, we were in so-and-so, and we paid this amount of money in October.
We have documented a lot of the information from our travels, but I will say I wished I'd done a better job of documenting that in a diary style format along
especially
the way.
When we were full-time.
Yeah,
it would have been really cool.
Yep.
But we do have the information, but you kind of got to piece it together a little bit. And then that actually our blog post, I was hoping to hit publish before we came on tonight, but it'll happen tonight. And it's a really great post that it's called The Costs of RVing, because RV now for 8 years we've had 4 rigs, 6 years full-time, 2 years part-time. So when people are always concerned about what it's going to cost, and it's how long is a piece of string. There are so many variables, as you know, but there's a lot of really good meaty information in there that would have been a lot easier to gather had I kept a travel type journal. But I'm working on one of those, but we sort of had to manually pull that together. Yeah, so by putting that in a blog post, it actually does make it.
But that's your next blog post that'll probably go up tonight or tomorrow?
Oh, probably within the hour. Like once we hang up, I was almost had it ready before we jumped on. But if the post is done, I'm just throwing in some photos, and it's a lot of information. It's really, us, we don't do just little 500-word blog posts. We do
5,000
volumes, but it's very in-depth information because it's the kind of information that we value and we wish was there when we were out, because just there's a lot of high-level fluff type information out there, and we like to
go to rvlove.com and then click on blogs at the top. But you just gave me an idea.
What's that?
What if you took the best of the blogs and did a third book, because they are so long, they actually become chapters. You could take
some of the blog posts could probably be their own book.
You could take 10 or 20 of your best blogs, and do just what Ed's talking about, because it would hit a lot of the areas that obviously were most important to you because you wrote so much about them. But that could be your third book.
We're on the same wavelength, Bob.
Okay.
We're on the same wavelength. Watch this space.
That's because you understand who the smarter of the two are. Now, John's out in left field with something else and thinking about something else. But, yes, Mr. DePietro?
That would be me, of the more intelligent person. I was just raising my hand, teacher.
I see.
Just raising my hand.
Do we have any? We got about 5 minutes left here. Laturco says, both your guests have been great. Thank you, as they are a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you, Ed. That's so sweet.
Ed, now, does that mean that John and I are not a breath of fresh air?
No, he said, you're a bunch of hot air.
Yeah, this is a guy I've known for 30 years, for Christ's sake. He says, wow, thanks, Shigami. I'm glad you finally got somebody on here with a breath of fresh air.
Speaking of hot air, have you guys been to Albuquerque?
We have
multiple,
a couple times. The first time was absolutely magical, and the second time we had a great time too. We actually almost went this year, but then had a last-minute change of plans.
And apparently it rained this year, and there was a lot of cancellations of the events.
Weather was terrible. Yeah.
What a shame, because like Marc said, the
50th year.
50th year. It should have been last year, but of course 2020 was cancelled with COVID, so they had to push back. But no, was literally only the week before we ended up having to pull out. But our first time was in 2016, and it's magical. Like Marc said, we went again last year in 2021, and that was great too. But there's nothing like your first time, and it just really is it just sounds really funny.
The RV hack is awesome. We use it while on the road.
Oh, thank you.
Who said that?
Dante,
thank you.
He's up in Maine and Windsor, Maine. Wyndham, Maine. Yeah. And so, as we said, think about the book for your holiday gift giving. I mean, it's just give them both. I mean, if you really do a double header and do them both, you can do Living the RV Life. You can do RV hacks. Put a bundle.
And we can send if you send us an email, we can sign little book plates and mail them to whoever the person is that you're gifting them to, and you can just stick them inside the book, and so they're personalized, and we'll put a free bookmark and a sticker in there too. So that's free to do that.
Let me
hello at RV Love. You could just shoot us a note.
Hello from Ohio. Dennis Spencer, great show and guests tonight.
There it is.
For another great show.
It's always fun hanging out with you guys.
Always fun having you guys on.
Yeah, we never run out of things to talk about.
You got to come to New England, though. You got to come to New England.
I know. I do want to come back to New England. It's beautiful.
You spend more time up here. You got to come up to Maine.
We haven't been to Maine for a while.
Yeah, and we've had a friend inviting us to come stay on his property up there too. But we'll get back up to New England again.
Are you going to the Tampa show?
This season.
Because Bob and John are going to take us out for dinner or cook us a nice barbecue.
Just lobster, yeah.
Are you going to Tampa? You going to Tampa?
Not this summer, but at winter. We are actually going to Palm Springs, to the southwest.
Oh, great.
We've been to Tampa the last few years, I think. So we're going to
go to Tampa for the first time. So
you're going to Tampa for the first time?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
So there's their email address if you have questions.
Or if it's just easier, hello at RV Love is easy too.
Hello at RV Love?
That's easier. Yeah.
Either one.
And you can buy the books every place in the world. Is that your dog?
Yeah, he just heard something.
He was doing so well.
He must be getting bigger now, right? Is he getting bigger, or is he getting bigger?
He's about 35 pounds now. He just ran outside, so
he's pretty much fully grown now.
Yeah.
He looks like a Muppet.
Both of my two dogs together don't weigh 35 pounds.
But they're easier for May to carry in her purse when you're going
better
places.
Travel size.
You could probably take them on the plane.
Oh, that's cute little
is the other one.
Oh, so you can take them on the plane.
this black one weighs about 5 pounds, and the other one weighs about 8 pounds. So I could use them as weights.
You could use them as weights.
If I was so inclined to exercise, which I'm not, I could use them as weights. I think we have extended our hour. You know, we could do a 6-hour show with you guys. You're fantastic, and always love it when you can come on and talk to our fans and have a great time. So thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
For inviting us.
You can go back and finish up your blog.
Yeah, because it's only what, 5 o'clock where you are?
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock here. So we'll have it up in the next hour or so.
Yeah.
And then you could just pour yourself whatever your beverage of choice. Bob, you'll have a nice scotch, won't you? Is that what you have?
Julie, you were doing so well for 59 minutes.
Why? It's not scotch.
No, it's Jack Daniels sipping whiskey.
I don't drink that stuff.
How can you?
I don't either.
Julie, the very first time I met you.
Julie, it's the last time you're on the show now. Come on. Come on to my show, though. Come on to my show. Forget Zagami.
All right. We're going to play the Lee's Auto and RV Ranch commercial in our closing break. We will see you guys later on. Thanks very much, guys. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Right. See y'all.
We want to thank Bob Zagami and NRVDA for inviting us to sponsor their fall into winter dealership sponsor program. And we want to introduce ourselves. This is Brian and the sales team here at Lee's Auto and RV Ranch. We want to welcome all the NRVDA members to come visit us and check out our great operation. We have a tremendous amount of inventory from small teardrops to Class A motorhomes. And also we want to introduce you to our service department where we do full mechanical repair and body work, floors, paint work, custom paint work on anything from Class A diesel pushers to small motorhomes. We want to invite everybody down to come say hello. We're family owned and operated. We're here to help you and serve you.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.